What's up, guys? Autofanatic. So yes, based on the intro to the video, I got an order in for a 2020 C8 Corvette. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the Corvette and that scenario and that decision. The GT500 I have on order. Let me get set up. I'm going to wash the car. I'm going to talk to you guys about cars, the detailing line, and everything else that's going on. So if you guys have followed my Instagram and know what's going on, second production run is completely gone. And I just, aesthetically, I never liked the 32-ounce bottles. Just something about them, I didn't like them. We were having problems with the bottle suppliers, where the bottles are coming in dented and they're just not lasting when they're being moved around on pallets and being shipped around the world. So we're changing the packaging. We're going to do different bottling. And since we're doing different bottling, I reinvested all the money back into it, and we're going to release a new formula, a stronger formula, and it's just going to make more sense with shipping. It's going to drop the shipping significantly because we're going to be going in a smaller package. So we're still working out stuff right now, still doing testing, and we're still bidding it out to have it manufactured because the new formula is significantly more expensive to make than the formula that I already released. Because what we did is we took a good percentage of the water out. So just to let you guys know, when you're buying cleaning solutions, a good portion of what's in your bottle is water. That's how you make profit, and that's how you crunch numbers and you make it happen. So I am taking a completely different approach. That's why I like to do this, is because I'm not dictated by corporate or somebody else telling me how I got to do it and how I got to crunch numbers. It's not being done for profit. It's being done for passion and quality. So we took the water content of the autofanatic wheel cleaner and we dropped it down. We also increased a couple of other components, and we changed the formulation around a little bit to make it a little bit stronger. So it just makes a hell of a lot of sense, and that's just what we're going to be doing going forward. Now, consider these aluminum cans. This is a cool option, except they're very expensive to buy. So what I'm thinking about doing, I may do a limited 500 bottles in the can as something like a little something unique and perk. Maybe I'll do it for the holidays or Black Friday. I'm not really sure yet, but that's definitely going to happen. But we're still looking at bottles now. We're going to get started here on this particular wheel. I'm not going to pre-rinse because this is, like I said, this is the new version of the wheel cleaner, and these are my new wheels, and they look like they're staying pretty clean. I've been driving the car for a little over a week with them. And what I like about this foamer, I like the trigger handle a lot better than the IK9. It just has a better feel to it. We're going to do that there. So that's that. We're going to let that sit. So regarding the situation with the Corvette and the GT500, now I put an order in for the GT500 hell of a long time ago with my dealer. I gave them a $5,000 deposit. And to be honest with you, it just was one of those things where I just did it just to do it. Wasn't really excited for it. Didn't really have intentions of getting the car. I was thinking about maybe getting it, doing some content, and then just flipping it. But to be honest with you, I've already had a 2015 GT Performance Pack. I already have the GT350 for over 2 years. Do I really want to get the same chassis, the same interior, the same feel behind the wheel? Not really. And that's really why I wasn't very excited about it. And then when Ford releases the numbers, 85,000, 100,000 plus 20,000 ADM, it doesn't make any sense to me. So what happened is, the Corvette C8 has been on my radar, but until I knew what was going on with it, I didn't want to jump the gun. I didn't want to say I'm going to get it. I didn't want to do anything until I really knew what was going to go on. And since they released it, since I looked at all the differences in engineering, I said this car makes the most sense. It's unique. It's a huge departure of anything that General Motors has ever done in its past. It has opened up a whole new category of potential buyers around the world. It's going to be a worldly, affordable, attainable supercar, unlike anything ever seen before. Just the way the new Mustang, the S550 Mustang, became a worldly muscle car, sports car, the new Corvette is going to be doing the same thing. The Corvette sales have been slumping for years because nobody's really excited about them, because they keep doing the same old thing. They keep changing up stuff just a little bit, and it's just not exciting enough for the money. And the Corvette buyer is dwindling. Corvette sales have been down 40%. Now, if you're General Motors and you're in the business of making cars for profit, why would you want to continue on the same path you've been going on for over 35 years? It's not working. Move on. Start fresh. Start with a clean slate. And that's kind of like what Ford did with the S550, and look how successful this platform is. Depending on your age bracket regarding the Corvette, if you guys go back to 1984, Corvette introduced the C4. That was like the biggest, most innovative thing at the time with the new Corvette. Coming from the C3, it was a huge departure of engineering, styling, and everything. And like I said, growing up, that was a car that, you know, me and my brother, we always wanted a Corvette, especially a C4. I had C4 model cars, RC cars, to name it. So it's just been a symbol of the American attainable sports car for so long. But if you guys know anything about Corvettes, even from the very beginning of 1953, they have suffered horrible build quality and fit and finish since 1953 up until the latest generation as well. So it's just one of those things where, you know, people are spending a lot of money and they're kind of pissed off because they feel like they're just getting a little bit more of the same of what they've always been getting between the C4, the C5, the C6, and C7. And like I said, I've always liked the history of the brand and the Corvette legacy and all of that, but I just never really saw myself buying a modern Corvette. I've owned a couple of vintage Corvettes because they're good investments in the collector car industry. I had a 57 fuel-injected car. Can't fit in the car, but it's worth a lot of money. Same thing with a 65 and 67 big block cars. They drive terrible. The chassis flex. When the chassis flex, the body flexes. So if you spend $20,000 on a paint job, chances are you drive it in New York, your paint job's going to have stretch cracks all on the fenders and the upper cowl area. And that's just, you got to take the good with the bad with those cars. So those cars are good to just sit in the garage and go to a local cruise, but you can't really enjoy them much. But they have very good intrinsic value, and that's, you know, they're still solid investments on the collector car market. So regarding like the C4, so you go back in history, that was a huge innovative thing for General Motors to have the C4 Corvette. And then they had the ZR1, really cool car. I love the way the front clamshell opened up and you saw the engine, and it was just, there was a lot of cool things about the car. I mean, it drove okay. It had very good performance figures for its time. You know, at the time, later the C4 started competing, of course, with the Viper and everything else. But if you go back and look at what's going on, the C7 Corvette was such a good value and such a good bang for the buck that it pretty much put the last nail in the coffin of the Dodge Viper, and that's why the Dodge Viper no longer exists. So the thing is, the sales of the Corvette have been so low that nobody's been buying them because there's nothing exciting about it. They had a horrible 8-speed automatic. That 8-speed automatic is the reason why I did not buy the CTSV. It just, there's something about it, it's just wrong. Now they have an 8-speed Tremec dual clutch transmission. That's exactly what they should have had all along. But you got to understand some of the bean counters and corporate. I feel that the Corvette model has been held back for well over 30 years. They've had the idea to toy around with this rear mid-engine and rear-engine design, and they just can't seem to do it because of budgeting and upper management constraints. And now to see the passionate people of GM Performance go out there and pretty much radically change the game. They completely changed the game. They're making an affordable supercar that's going to start at under $60,000. It's just unheard of. So say goodbye to sales of the Acura NSX. Say goodbye to sales of a lot of the cars. And I'll tell you right now, even guys that are looking at the McLaren, the little McLaren, the 570S, I guarantee people are going to say, you know what? It doesn't make sense to buy that car and get this Corvette for under 100 grand. So I'm going to move over to the other side of the car. It's hot as hell over here, and I'll talk to some more about this Vette. So back to the GT500. Like I said, I mentioned this in my 2-year review video. I've driven some modified GT350s with blowers and turbos and all of that. You know, like I said, it's fun and all, but you know what? That fun wears off quick. So with Ford and with Dodge and all these companies are trying to do, they're trying to get everybody excited over who's got the most horsepower. But if the car itself is the same platform, the same feel, the same vibe, you're really not getting anything special there. That's where I think the GT350 is definitely a much more special car, and it's going to be a much more valuable car going on in the future. So, like I said, I've been looking at, you know, something cool to pick up just for content to play around with. I've been looking at convertibles, looking at the NSX, the old ones, first gen, the new ones. Looked at the McLarens, I'm looking at Porsches. You know, I had a bunch of stuff that's just been going on in my head lately. And when I saw the unveil of the C8 and I looked at the engineering data, I said, you know what? That's the car. I saw and read all the enthusiasm, all the positive feedback from buyers that never ever would consider a Corvette. All the younger guys, the guys that are coming from a BMW M4, the guys that are coming from a Mustang. These are guys that never would walk in the dealership and buy a Corvette. The Corvette owner, it's all over the internet. You can just look up the history of it. Statistically, it's from the age 60 and up. And they kind of make fun of it all the time. They call it the midlife crisis car and this and that, but that's just what it was. So GM was following the same formula for all of these years. They're not selling cars. They're not making money. The Corvette legacy is at stake. What do? You know, we're 2020, new generation, lots of technology now in the world. You know, everybody's watching you with social media. So what did they do? They did a radical change on the car. You know, full aluminum skeletal monocoque structure. Got composite body panels. They put the engine in the back. They did all this cool stuff, and it's an attainable car. I was concerned that when they were going to release the C8 Corvette, that they were going to start talking about starting price at 80 grand or 75 grand. Then we start adding up options and everything. Now you're pushing it over 120, 150. And I just think when you hit that level of money, there are a lot of other European cars and other cars that you could consider, from like a used Ferrari, a McLaren, and vice versa. So that's where you got to really think about where you want to spend your money and what do you think is going to hold its best value and give you the best bang for the buck. So the situation is, with the GT500, I called my dealer this morning, and I kind of put the squeeze on that, and I told him I don't want the car anymore. So the situation is, I put that money down on that car, I wire transferred it. A lot of dealerships won't do a special order on a car with a credit card, and I don't blame them, because, you know, if they're going to be purchasing these specialty cars that are niche cars and not everybody's going to be buying them, you don't want to have some sort of commitment. So the $5,000 that I put on that, on the GT500, they promised that they're either going to mail me a check in 2 weeks, which is cool with me. That's where I'm at with that. Now, yesterday morning, I wake up, I looked at some more engineering shots that I found online of the C8 Corvette. The more I started reading on it, the more I started liking it, the more I started reading everybody's feedback and all the videos and all the social media, and I'm like, you know what? I think this car makes sense. It makes sense for me. The Corvettes never really appealed to me. The C5, the C6, the C7. I mean, I liked them, but I never liked them enough, and I never really saw myself in those cars. Like I said, it was just another iteration of what was the one before, and the one before, and the one before, you know, with some subtle changes across the way, but nothing drastic, nothing that made it unique, nothing that made it super, super exciting until now. And that's why, you know, I'm excited. I've never been this excited about getting a new car than when I took delivery of my GT350 right here. It's just something about it. I was up all night, just, you know, super excited with adrenaline, anxiety. I'm like, this is so cool. I did it. I went to the bank. I wired the money. They're telling me that the car that I am going to probably get late November, sometime December, maybe sooner. We don't know yet. But I'm going to do some videos along the way with the spec. I haven't spec'd the car out yet, so I'm still weighing some options right now as far as what I'm going to do. But I kind of know where I'm going to go with it. And I talked to a lot of you guys right now. My inbox is blown up. Guys are emailing me all day and night about this since I put my post on Instagram about me ordering the car. But it's cool as hell. I cannot wait to pick it up. So we're going to get ready to foam the car up with the autofanatic 007 Snowstorm. I put about 3 squeezes of the 16-ounce bottle. These are the bottles that my soap comes in. Just take it, 3 squeezes, and that's it. And this is the foam cannon that I've been testing for a while, and actually they're going to private label these with the autofanatic logo, where these are going to be in the store probably sometime in the fall. We're working on it, but actually I like it because it stands up. I like the wider neck here, and believe it or not, this is the foam cannon that I've pretty much been using since this thing has been in my garage. So we're using the 1322 as usual. It's nice and quiet, and we're going to get foamed up right now. So let's go. See there, we got some new, I got a bunch of different autofanatic license plates, so when I do customers' car review videos, I don't have to worry about trying to block out the plate. So just testing these out as well. You guys can see how thick that foam is. It's unbelievable, and the self-cleaning properties of this foam is freaking awesome. You guys got to consider buying this next time you place an order in my web shop. But you can see it there, we're right in direct sun. A lot of guys have been asking, hey, are you going to keep the GT350? Are you replacing the GT350 with the C8 Corvette? No, I'm not replacing the GT350. I'm keeping a GT350. I own it. It doesn't cost me much to own except insurance and gas and any other modifications I decide to do to it. But no, I definitely don't want to get rid of this car because it's a manual transmission. And considering the GT500 is a dual clutch and the C8 is a dual clutch, there's no manual transmission option offered yet. It's because nobody buys them. Statistically proven, nobody buys them. Ferrari stopped doing it, Lamborghini stopped doing it, pretty soon Porsche's going to stop doing it. It just goes by statistics and sales. Nobody's buying it. That's just the modern times that we live in, and unfortunately auto manufacturers have to make a profit and they have to produce cars that people are going to buy, not ones that, you know, us 5% of enthusiasts really want. Now, it'd be kind of cool to have the GT350 alongside the new C8. I think it's going to be really, really fun to have both of those cars. And I would say that between the Shelby GT350 and the 2020 C8 Corvette, I'm going to have two of the most incredible American-built and engineered high-performance cars that ever existed during our modern times. So that's definitely really, really cool to even say that in this day and age, because American cars have had such bad stigma throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even the 2000s. But they're coming back strong, and they're building some kick-ass cars right now, and I'm actually proud to say that these things are American-built. All rinsed off. I did a quick blow dry with the Ego blower. Now I'm just going to take some autofanatic 007, and I'm going to spray the car liberally, because I haven't done this in a while on this car. And you're going to want to leave a little bit of water on the paint. So that's that. I like to use a lot because I make the product, so I have plenty of inventory for myself. So let me just grab the Griot's PFM towel right here, and I'm going to get this car dried off in a couple of minutes, and then we'll wrap this video up. So Shelby's cleaned, dried, looking awesome. It's going to go back in the garage. I'm not using it for the remainder of today. But anyways, thanks for checking out this video and learning a little bit more what's going on behind the scenes. Remember, the new autofanatic wheel cleaner is coming out soon. New packaging, new pricing, so stay tuned to the website. Any updates will be posted. And then, of course, follow me on Instagram. I usually post new content every day about what's going on behind the scenes, what projects I'm working on, cars, all that good stuff. And as soon as I get the phone call from the dealer to spec out my new C8 2020 Corvette, I will also do a video and tell you guys exactly where I'm going to go with it. I kind of already know where I'm going to go as far as options and colors and all of that, but until I get the specification sheet and see what everything's going to cost, then I'll pick and choose to see exactly how I'm going to spec the 2020 Vet out. And I'm actually super excited. I cannot wait to get it. I just hope the car doesn't get here when there's snow in the ground, because that's not going to be a lot of fun. But I don't know, maybe we'll throw snow tires on it, and we'll make it some fun. So see you guys soon. Please like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned to the channel for more automotive content, and very soon there's going to be some 2020 C8 Corvette content on this channel. We're going to do some modifications. I'm going to try to do some custom design parts for the car, carbon fiber interior. I kind of know where I'm going to go with it, and as far as color goes, it's 100%. I'm almost set on it. It's going to be red. As far as interiors and everything else, not really sure, but the car is going to be red, and it's going to be a Z51 performance pack. So stay tuned to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.